Good morning. In this retreat, the coming 6 days, I'm going to cover what the topic contains is the 5 aggregate, 6 bases, 6 sense bases, and then that is the 12 links interdependent origination, and talk about the 4 noble truths. Then we come to feelings. So this topic is mostly applied to practice. Not going to cover the evidence and the sutras named for, but a little bit quote from there to cover how to put it into practice. In Buddhism, what I learned, the most important one is called 5 aggregates. So from these 5 aggregates that in Chinese Buddhism, we call him as a definition, the name called 5 demons. You know, in the English word, we have one in religion called demon, isn't it? So 5 aggregates in Chinese, we have the same name, 叫五蕴魔. Other than the 5 aggregate is the troublesome, is not much we can find the troublesome direct and in very straightforward into our own mental stress or the mental and body stress. So the life itself, from we already born here, and then it come to need to how to make living better, you know, and then maybe have a happy life, a joyful life, and then come to the end, we need to facing to the life itself, come to aging, come to illness, and then the moment the life need to cut off from here. So this is become a very important for us, how we can transform the life itself, where to go after this. You know, we're not easy to give up because of the 5 aggregate is very active from moment to moment in this very life, so that it just become the demon, or we call that it become the obstacle for the clear mind, for the concentrate mind, and for the insight. You see, once I say concentrate mind, you know, is something the base we transform from the 5 aggregate. Let me say something you can understand very easy. Like the fireman, he have 5 aggregate very active, you know, because of the situation is not exist. You don't need to go to fight in the fire. Once you come into the fire danger situation, so the 5 aggregate can be active, you know. You need to be very concentrated and no more other disturbances from the 5 aggregate. Then you can walk into the fire, isn't it? You can walk into the danger very, very firm, very brave heart, you know, very energetic. That this is called something that called concentrate. You see? So I say practically concentration and very focused, it becomes the life always need to stopping the active of the 5 aggregate in order that we in the in the time need, it really work, isn't it? So I take this example, then you can see in the life that concentration, the mind focus, the mindfulness, when you call him, he work, he function, this become very important. But you see, when we misuse this 5 aggregate, you make this function is more active, more controlling and master your own spirit, then you can see it become very, very bad, isn't it? I say another example in the 5 aggregate, we call the form. You see? Based on this form, we have the mind, perception, mental formation. Yeah, we have the form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. This is the 5 aggregate we know. So from the body base, then you can see the feeling. Feeling easy to become better, or more good in the feelings that you can transcend. Sometimes we say the lady is very emotion. You see, that is what it means by here. It means by that they control their feeling, up and down, they overcome, they let their mind free. It's not too easy, they attach in the feeling. You see, some men also like that, attached to the feeling. We call that crazy man. You see, that you can see in his emotion. Sometimes that emotion very strong, very strong. If we get too strong, it may from his mouth, from his body will act very strong. Sometimes extreme strong. You see, so this is called emotion part. You can see in the mental they have emotion part. Need to do something. Otherwise, if we let it, the process like that. Don't do something to heal it, then it becomes big problem, isn't it? So another thing is called perception. Yeah, perception is something that like thinking mind. We call that. Or you have something project in your mind that you have the shadow in your mind that you grab that and carry on thinking. If good in thinking, okay. If that thinking is not good, then it may become terrorist. If you think something, the perception is not, you don't know what is going on, you carry on process into that perception is negative, like anger, jealous. You see, this kind of perception. You can't let him pop up all the time and process all the time, isn't it? If I always thinking you bad, keep on thinking, then this relationship break, isn't it? So some perception is very negative. You can't let him appear in the mind without knowing. So mindful to your own mind, very important. This is 5, we call that 5 demon. You see, that is this meaning about. So in Buddhism, we don't trust thinking mind like that. We want to try to concentrate. Once you concentrate, you can overcome this 5 aggregate at that moment. So right mindfulness is very important. Let me say something about perception. Depressed people, why it become depressed? Because of thinking. You see, he thinking, until he don't feel the exterior world anymore. Until he don't feel he is hungry. He don't know the body. That is a very strong depressed. Depressed is not meant by he don't have anything active in the mind. He is volitionally very strong, the whole in his processing of his thinking mind. Until he don't know how to come back to right mindfulness. You see? So that is called depressed. Yeah, very active until he have no more other energy, and then he don't want to see things. He need to keep himself into the dark. A lot of habitual pattern changing into isolate himself because the body function slowly not work anymore. Yeah, this is called wrong grabbing into something in the mental. Yeah. So my understanding when I observe the inner, the only four things is very active there is the feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Then we can see people that don't really can have insight to check the mind. It just let the mind go again and again, and then they go to trouble. So some psychotherapy is need to healing some patient. They need to find a way. Don't let them touch to their mind too much. So like I have the lesson that bring someone here, try to help them. They have little bit mental disorder, mental depression. So that I really help them in that way is I try to let him know the body and know his finger, know his work there. Let him pull back to the form. Pull his intention or attention back to the form. And don't let him to have too much habitual pattern again processing in the mental. Need to pull back to the form. So then if I say that anything very healthy for them is exercise, do farming, like that, do woodwork, and do other job, heavy with the body and the focusing into the body. That kind of what we call that handy job. Let them build up back to the senses, 5 senses, not in the mental. This is become very important. If you can't have that, then he is lazy just in the mind, but not in his body. Then his body is not exercised. Body is not active. So his exercise, circulation, and others function of the body go worse and worse. So this is something that I see a mental problem in different individuals' life. So for a very healthy life, right now we can see another thing is called mental formation. Mental formation is something that is a more fabrication there. He like to deal with the mental, like we call that some yogi, he like to just sit, and then we have a lot of monks, I call them lazy monk. They just like to sit and don't like to serve. Even though in the monastery he becomes a stranger. He don't like to serve others, he don't like to do anything, he don't like to read book, he don't like anything that beneficial when he body and mind appear in the world. Just bring his relationship and friendship better quality. He just isolate himself. We call this isolate monk or ascetic monk. They like to do that. It's because of the mental formation. Yeah. He cannot mind and body focus, but he just can bring his mindfulness to active in his memory. So we can see all these kind of monkey just far away in the mountain. He don't test any test and overcome the test of the five sense base, the organs. So his organs only keep into the mountain and can be peace, cannot be what you call that, stress. When the stress is there, he cannot handle because his mind is not get used to this stress. You can see the fireman. When the stress is there, he is very focused. He is very concentrated. This is what called concentration. Concentration means in the five aggregate, no matter the form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, no matter each of that individually, they appear into the here and now, the concentration can work to overcome that. Not let the five aggregate become hindrances, become obstacle. This is called concentration. So right concentration is overcome five hindrances. It's not right concentration in the mind only. Yeah, this is what my understanding about concentration. Why we want to training mindfulness to the body and starting mindfulness to the feeling is because of my understanding of concentration. We call that right mindfulness, right concentration is still with overcome the reality of five aggregate. So you don't need to hide in any world in order you can concentrate. Yeah. You need to train this habitual pattern very skillful when you are there with the body and mind. You have mindful. So mental formation here have something in Chinese. We use two words. One is volition, formation, volition, formation, and one is called will, W-I-L-L. So the strong will, a volition formation is very active, very strong energy. That is not called concentration, okay? So need to make sure that that is not what we call concentration. That still is the attachment of the mindset. Yeah? So we can see a lot of army training, all the football exercise and other exercise training, they can use their volition very strong, but they can overcome problem. It is not there, can make you release. You see? Let me say one, what I call that, the example. When we go to Princeton, just not long, couple days ago. So in Princeton there, we go to the Chinese what?
Acrobatic show.
Yeah, we go to that show. The show is for children. We don't know that it's a show for children, so we all adult, we go there. They have only one couples there, and then we shot for 15 minutes. We late, so that we still go in. Then our team have 5, so The whole movie theater only have 7 people. So in in order to show my encouragement and support, so I grab my hand a lot. I never grab my hand like that, because they need focus. Training my martial art when I was 5, I know how difficult, and then in all that show is in almost all the time in very danger condition. They need focus. Yeah, they need to have that we call that very high energy, to focus. If they see that something that bring out their mindful, then it will become danger. So the whole show the audience almost only 7 of us. You see, so for the group that the whole group up there, they do a lot of show that they need to excite themselves in order to have energy to focus. If something, the condition make them depressed, it will very, very danger. So I grab my hand very loud, try to show the support, and then we can see the adult have very good training, so that when the kid come up there, whip out any guard, any wire, any guard, just hang it there, so that they are very nervous too, they're just like that. They show like they are doing show, but not. You can, if you penetrate to their mind is very nervous to the children. The children suddenly, if they can grab it, perfectly, then it's danger, And I see it in the movie sometime, and I see in the news when they drop, they become handicapped, just send back there, and no more future life. You see, so this is how the training. The training very hard, and then this is all where they are not been educated the whole life, just carry on training. The training what? This is called mental formation, training their strong will. Yeah, like the army, they concentrate in the very strong will. When something they want to show, they just show it like that. They can hold it there, and they can keep their mind released from all the perception, all the feeling, all the consciousness, all the form. They not let them appear. They can concentrate in the volition, formation. Like that. But they don't know how to take that energy into the daily life, so that when they grow up, it's like a writer, like an artist, like someone do his professional training is game or boxers, all this. They don't know how to use that concentration, mindfulness back into his own, transcend the spirit. They just, when they come back to the 5 senses world, then the same have the grabbing mind. See, this is a difference. Yeah. So in Buddhism, consciousness means you analyze something. You discrimination. You discriminate something, and then the important one is right away you make decision. You decide already. This is called wisdom. If concentration that cannot make you decide what is going on and get the right decision, then this discrimination or this consciousness is not going to work. Okay? I'm going to stop it here because of this reality. I call the fire aggregate is reality. So if you can see, then I already point to the another picture is called Four Noble Truths. It related to the Four Noble Truths like that. Because fire aggregate want to show you the reality or the truth, the principle is connected, have two parts to go. One is called, the cause and the cause of suffering. Yeah. The fruit and the cause. And then this is called the samsara. Yeah. Later on, we will continue what the samsara means. And then the second part is the cessation and the path. Why we want to training so many skills in order to get use it, build up another new habitual pattern is because of we need to pull back, how to overcome this 5 demons. You see, and don't let it work very well. So that here is something that you can see at the back there. Right mindfulness, attention, and contact. This is something that in mindfulness training we always need to base on, and then just let the mindfulness, attention, and contact all the time is what we call the right now and here. But you don't let your mind, once you train in mindfulness, you don't let your mind come to feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. We don't let it go there. But we use right mindfulness, right intention, right contact to the body. You see? And then the second part, to the body's feeling. You see? Yeah, when we call that to the body's feeling, it means you try to observe the 4 elements. Okay, I'm going to stop it here.